I know a lot of people have questioned channeled materials. There's certainly lots of channeled materials, but when I worked with the students back in the 1990s, we would go deeper and deeper into the concepts until one day one of the students said to me, there's something interesting about this whole idea of channeling. You know, it's like it still seems to be a very dualistic concept, as if there's an entity that's doing the channeling, like Jesus, and then a scribe that's receiving it. I said, very good. We had to start to undo the whole belief in channeling. Of course, like you say, Tara Singh saw her as a holy woman, but you start to take a look at the oxymorons and the contradictions. Holy woman, holy man, you can start to begin to see the contradictions. When you start to transfer the training of the teachings of the Course to everything, when there's a copyright controversy about the Course with all the lawsuits, one of the biggest points of contention in the court of law was who was the author of A Course in Miracles. And so when I was at Cincinnati at my Peace House, I would kind of poke fun at all these things while this was going on. My friend Ruth, who was staying there, she knew me, and we talked things through very deeply at the kitchen table. And so I said to her, because there was this big controversy in the Course and who was the author and everything, and so I said, okay, we're going to play a game. Did any of you remember that television show back, it started maybe back in the 50s or 60s, called To Tell the Truth?
Oh yeah.
Orson Bean and Kitty Carlisle, you know, the whole team. I said, okay, I said, Ruth, we're going to play To Tell the Truth with A Course in Miracles. I said, you're going to have to listen to a panel of experts to determine who is the Course, author of A Course in Miracles, because this is a big controversy in the court of law right now. Endeavor Academy said Jesus of Nazareth. Ken Wapnick said, no, it was Jesus of Palestine. And, you know, so, and there were different ones. And this was like in a court of law, you know, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I had Ruth sit down, I said, here's the panel. I said, who is the author of A Course in Miracles? And then they would, you know, the old show, they would stand up and they would speak right to the panel. So the first one stood up and said, I'm the author of A Course in Miracles. My name is Jesus of Nazareth. And then the second one stood up and said, no, I'm the author of The Course in Miracles, and my name is Jesus of Palestine. And then I had the third one stand up and say, hi, my name is Helen Schuckman, and I'm the author of the Course, because some were claiming that Helen was the author, you know, legally. And then I had the fourth seat I left open. And Ruth said, well, what's that? And I said, well, that's just a symbol that the Course had no author. So you have to pick between which is the real author, or which is the real author, what's the real answer here. And so Ruth, who's not really a Course in Miracles student, she knew of it and everything, she said, okay, well, it's not Jesus of Nazareth, it's not Jesus of Palestine, because those are historical figures that were coming up in the court of law. And she said, it definitely wasn't Helen Schuckman. She said by her own words and everything. But so she said, I'll pick the fourth one, that the Course has no author. I said, very good. If you follow the teachings, it teaches that words are but symbols of symbols, twice removed from reality, and that God is the author of the universe, and real, you know, spirit. God authors in eternity, and so there is only one author, and that author is of course God the Creator, and there are no authors. That's what the authority problem in A Course in Miracles is the belief that there's another author other than God. And so the answer was the Course has no author, because the Course is form. And anything that's in form, you can know for sure, has not been authored. So it's much deeper than any Course in Miracles teacher would ever talk. But Ruth got it. She was just living with there at the Peace House, and she said, oh, it's number 4. So, you know, this is what I mean by transfer of training. You know, taking the teachings of the Course and applying them to everything, including the Course. And then you can start to realize that we're going for an experience. There can never be a universal theology. but there has to be a universal experience, and that experience requires letting go of everything you think you know. If you think and think you know, and just emptying your mind.
I've got to say something. That the story about the people on a deserted island, and one person sees their rescue ship, and they point and they say, "Look," and everybody says, "Well, that's just a finger." She says, "No, look," and then they say, "No, I see your finger," and they don't see what they're pointing at.